everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about blogging, influencing, I'm using those because I hate that word, and all things kind of behind the scenes. So over on Instagram I ask people for their questions because I don't know, it's just easier to ask people there because it has like the little swipey uppy boxy thing you do, that thing. And I've loads of questions and I'm going to pick out the most interesting ones, the ones that I think you might be interested in hearing the answers to. So let's get cracking. Boom. I had a few questions about starting blogging, and one person says, where do you even begin when you decide you want to blog? Another one is WordPress the best to start blogging? And how did you come up with your blog name? When it comes to WordPress, I don't use WordPress, I use Blogger. I know. I just figured at the time, I didn't know what I was doing setting up the blog, and I think I googled, did I google how to start a blog? Maybe, I don't know, everything's on Google anyway, or YouTube tutorials, so definitely go forth and have a little look. But I just wanted something easy. I didn't know it was going to turn into this big thing. I just wanted something easy that I'd be able to do because I have like no technical skills whatsoever, and Blogger was just really easy. But now I think I'm going to switch to WordPress. Maybe, I don't know, there's loads more like nice themes for WordPress, and I think it helps with your SEO as well. So I don't know, I can't compare WordPress to Blogger yet, but when I do, I'll let you know. And when it comes to starting, I get, you know what, I'd say on a weekly basis I get a couple of people saying, how do I start a blog, what do I do? And it's just, I just keep going, just start it. I always just think, pick your name. Oh, and another question was, how did I come up with the name for my blog? So when I first started back in 2010, I didn't know what I was going to blog about. I knew it was going to be makeup, but then I didn't know if it was going to be more than makeup or if it was going to be like lifestyle and not fashion, because I have like no style whatsoever. I didn't know if it would be accessories. I just didn't want to have the word makeup or beauty in the name so that I wouldn't be kind of, what's the word, like constrained to only talking about makeup. Because you know the way, when it comes to Instagram, I see so many like makeup by Sarah, makeup by this, makeup by that, and that's not going to make you stand out because everyone's like, oh yeah, no, I've already heard of that. So if you can think of something cute, funny, like just sit down and brainstorm ideas of what you can use for your blog name. But then also make sure that those names are available on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, Pinterest maybe. That's one of the top tips when it comes to starting off a blog and starting off like your whole social media thing, is to make sure that the names are available across the board. Trust me, it's a pain in the hoop if it's not. And then, oh yeah, so where do you even begin when you decide you want to blog? So the name is number one. And then if you pick your platform, so pick either Blogger or WordPress, and there, as I said, there are loads of tutorials on how to set everything up. Then I'd suggest getting a team. So if you go to Etsy or if you Google Blogger Themes, or Blog Themes WordPress or Blog Themes Blogger, you'll find that you can buy a theme, and the theme is like how it looks, like how it's all beautiful and lovely. Yeah, because I have mine with Pipdig, and there has been a little bit of controversy about them recently, so I'm going to switch up. I'm in the process of like looking around, so I think now might be the time for me to switch to WordPress. Pray for me that it works. But yeah, if you just pick the topic that you want to write about and then brainstorm ideas, because I get so many people saying, oh, I don't know what to write about. So I always say, sit down, get a nice notebook and just brainstorm ideas. Anything that comes out of your head, put it on paper. It doesn't have to make it to the blog, but it just shows you, oh yeah, you might see different ideas that might be good for a social media post, or that might be good for a video, or that might be good for a blog post. But yeah, and the thing is, like, you don't need all the equipment. Phones are whopper these days. Like back when I first started, I used like a little point and shoot camera. That was crap, and I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I just did it and I loved it. So yeah, picking your topic and your theme is important as well. Someone wants to know a camera you recommend for someone just dipping their toes in this for the first time. Just use your phone. 100% just use your phone, unless if it's Android, because Androids are crap. Okay, not all Androids. I just find that, you know, when you see on Instagram, you know if someone's using an Android because it looks like someone licked the lens and then all the audio is like off kilter. Just get something small. See, I can only recommend the cameras that I've used because I know them and I've used them, so I can't say anything other than the one that I'm filming on now, which is the Olympus EPL 7, but they don't make that anymore. The EPL 8 is the newest one, and I like it because it has a flip down screen, so I can see myself right now. I can see that I'm still recording. When I'm taking photos, I can see that look at my highlight. I could see that I am in focus. And then the other camera that I had before this was the Canon Rebel T3i, which I think is the 600D. I've had that for years. My friend has it at the moment, and that has a flip out screen. So if you're taking photos of products like, or just flat legs, or your face isn't going to be in the shots, a flip out screen isn't as important. But if you are going to be filming or doing any kind of videos or doing your selfies or taking your before and after makeup shots, I'm telling you, it is one of the best things you can do, is to get a flip down, flip up, flip across, whatever. But there are whopper ones. And then, I know I'm talking real fast, but I just want to get as much information in as possible. What I would recommend to do is, I spent months researching my Olympus pen, and I was kind of going between this and a Canon one, and I just ended up getting this one and I love it, it's fab. I do want to invest in a higher one. I don't know, I just want to invest in my craft and, you know, upgrade my technology. But what I would recommend is to go into a camera shop and say, come here to me, can you help me? I want my camera for blogging, for taking photos, for taking action shots. They'll be able to give you more information. You have to then play with the camera as well. Like, it makes me nervous when people say, what camera do you use? And then I tell them and then they go and buy it. And I'm like, no. I always say to them, don't research. Please don't just get it because I said, because my needs might be different to your needs. When I was looking for the pen, I wanted a camera that was going to be portable, that was going to be lightweight, that was going to have lenses I could change. I did like the idea of the flip down screen so I could see for flat lays, that I wasn't kind of going like this. Because the Canon camera that I have is bigger and heavier and bulkier, it's just awkward. But when I go to Spain, I don't like using my Olympus to take photos because I can't see what I'm doing, because it doesn't have a viewfinder. So with the Canon one that I have, that has a viewfinder and you can see what's in shot. It doesn't matter how bright it is, it's not going to blind you in the eyeballs. Whereas with my Olympus, I'm relying on the flip out screen, and when it's really bright I can't see it properly. So see, things like that might not be important to you, but it's important to me. So if you, again, write your lists down, decide what you need it for, whether it's just going to be static in your room, you're not going to need it out and about. You should be able to get like a decent DSLR these days, even second hand, and that will do the job for you. But if in doubt, use your phone. Phones are whopper these days. How do you make money on YouTube? Watching all your vids to help you get on hauls with Dainty. Ah, thanks! Yeah, it's very hard to make money on YouTube, as you can see. And I tried to show that on Insta stories. I kind of show behind the scenes of the AdSense. And I will say that in the last 28 days, I've made either 8 or 9 videos, and I've made a grand total of $16. So yeah. So let's say a video took an hour to film and like an hour to edit. It's not very much per hour, but I love doing it anyway. So I know I'm never going to be rich from YouTube. I just do them because I love it. And at least the videos here will be there for people to search for. But on Instagram, you put the video up and usually 24 hours later, nobody gives a shit. So it's hard. You have to have like the big numbers, the big views, the watch time, to make some money on YouTube. So thanks for watching my videos. Somebody asked, what's the difference between hashtag ad and hashtag collab, or are they the same thing? Oh, I know. This just a pain in the hoop. So I went to a conference last year with the ASAI, that's the Advertising Standards Agency of Ireland. I don't know if that's what that stands for, but they're the lads that are in control of making sure that consumers know that they're watching an ad, be it on the telly or be it on YouTube or be it on a blog or all that kind of, any kind of media. So at the conference, they just, oh, it was just a shit show. But anyway, there was a question and answer thing at the end. Like, I can give my interpretation of what it is, it might not be correct. So if you are wondering about that, I would say contact the ASAI themselves. They're on Twitter, and I think there is a contact form on their website as well. Anytime a brand has any kind of control over the content that you post, whether you've been paid or not, then you have to use your hashtag ad. Okay. Hashtag collab, that works as well. They just want people to know that if you're watching a video, or if you're watching a blog post, or if you're watching an Insta story, that you know that the person is working, that it's obvious that the person is working with the brand. They're fine with the hashtag I work with pennies, or hashtag I work with whatever. They're fine with hashtag brand ambassador. But for me, I always just use hashtag ad because I don't know. See, the thing is with the ASAI, they just have guidelines, they don't have rules. I just wish they had rules so that everybody would know that this is what you have to do. I did my makeup with this palette from Essence, hashtag not an ad. But they just sent that to me in the hopes that I would post about it. So picture this, Essence said to me, come here to me, I'll give you this if you post about it. And if I said yeah, I would have to do hashtag ad if I posted about this. But the majority of brands send things to influencers and magazines and papers, any kind of, all the old school media as well, in the hopes that we will write about them or mention them online. For then, we don't have to do hashtag ad. We could do hashtag press sample or hashtag gifted. The whole hashtag gifted thing is a whole other thing. You will never see me using that. I will use press sample, but I'm not using gifted, because ain't nobody, they're not sending this to me as a gift. They're sending this to me in the hopes that I will post about it as a press sample. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But if you're unsure as to whether somebody is working with a brand, just ask them, but ask them politely. Don't be like, oh, this is an ad, if you're not sure that it is. You know, I've had people ask me, oh, is this a sponsored post, or is this a hashtag ad? And I will either say yes or I'll either say no. To me, if you see the hashtag ad, it's an ad, or I've been paid for it. I say I don't really take product in return for posts, because that's not going to pay my bills. My bank man is not going to go, do you know what, I will accept this Essence palette in return for your house, you know? No. Just because you see someone doing a hashtag ad doesn't mean that they've been paid. They might have taken like a holiday or overnight stay in a hotel as their benefit in kind, and then they'll have to do ad for that. I had a couple of questions around the same thingity. Someone says, what's the best way to price work, as in promoting for a brand? And then someone says, how do you figure out at the very start what's your rate? Just got asked this for the first time, and trying to figure out your rate is always fun times. It's not. I don't have a media kit. I know I probably should, but for me, each job is different. So let's say, for example, a brand could approach me and want me to do a series of stories on their bits, on their products, and it might just be me. I'm just holding the thing. It might just be me going, oh, this is this, I've used it, and give my little mini review. Whereas some of the jobs, I'll have to go to the shop and I'll have to take photos or take videos there and send them over while I'm there for live approval, and then they'll either say yes or no, or there's kind of like a lot of back and forth. Or I could have Insta story videos where I want to edit them like all to look nice and look lovely. And yeah, I don't have a media kit because I find different jobs require different level of work and a longer time or a shorter time, so I do try to take that into consideration. So I could have a job where they just want me to do a 1 minute video, and I'll say to myself, right, how long will that take me to set up, to plan, to edit, to film, and to send it off? And then you also want to factor in your audience as well, because they want access to the eyeballs on your page. You don't want to overprice yourself, you don't want to underprice yourself. I know of people who have been approached to do a job and then asked somebody else, how much money do you think they have? Like, how much money does the brand have to spend? And I'm just like, no, I just think that that's just real grabby. And so whenever I'm pricing myself for a job, I factor in how long I think it's going to take, how creative I want to be, if I need to edit, if it will take me ages to set up, if it will take me ages to film, if I need to refilm. If the brand says, right, listen, we want it on this day, and then they go, actually, we want it brought forward. That has to be factored in as well, because if there's like a fast turnaround time. So let's say if a brand asks you to do a job, try and get as much information as you can before you give them a price. So ask them, is there going to be any exclusivity? So let's say if you were talking about a product and if the brand didn't want you to mention their competitors for a month, that needs to be factored in as well, because you could be losing potential work based on that. Does that make sense? There's no point in me saying this is what you should charge, because there is no fixed rate. I think maybe it is something that should be regulated, but it's not. But I think if you try to be fair, if you try to rip off a brand or try to be cheeky, they'll smell it a mile away. And it's important as well to give the brand value for money. So let's say they're giving you a few bob to do a 1 minute video, then I'll always try to do, I'll do the 1 minute video, but then I'll promote it online as well. And I won't be paid for that, but I will still do the hashtag ad as well, just to be clear. So yeah, I always like to over deliver rather than under deliver. So someone said, oh, this is across 2 messages. Someone said, quality versus quantity. Is it better to keep to a schedule and maybe post something a bit less polished, or is it better to do the polished, fully realised post or video, whatever, and upload less frequently? These days it's definitely quality over quantity, I think anyway. Back before the Instagram algorithm became a thing, it was important to post regularly so people would see your posts. And so if you posted, it didn't matter how many people they followed, they would see your post on their feed. Whereas nowadays people will see your post based on if they've liked your previous posts. So if you do a really good quality post that somebody's going to engage with, that someone's going to like on and comment, that will make sure that your next post will show up in their feed. So if you spend time making sure that either the video or the photo is good quality, make sure the caption is engaging or gas, have a call to action in it, so either ask them a question or get them to tag somebody, something that will make them interact with your post so that the next post will be seen. Like, you could throw up anything, and if it doesn't do well, that's a waste of time, because your next post won't be seen by any extra people. And when it comes to blog posts, see, nowadays I don't think people follow bloggers the way they do, or follow their blogs. I used to follow people on Blog Love, and I still kind of do, but I will generally be Googling stuff. So I'll be Googling best, I don't know, high coverage foundation or high coverage concealer or best budget mascara. So it's better that you have a really good blog post that's there, that's going to give people answers when they Google, than to just post anything up for the sake of it. Does that make sense? Message me. I know that we talk back and forth, and the person that answered me, so feel free to message me on Instagram. Someone says, what do you do when you are paid for a product to review but you personally don't like the product? Well, I always ask to try the product before I do a review. At the moment I'm trying out some makeup for an upcoming collaboration, and yeah, if there's anything that I don't like, I will contact the brand and say this isn't going to work. I did a collaboration there recently. It was for a makeup brand, and I did a few different posts for them, and they sent out the products that I needed. I had some of them already from buying them myself, but they sent some new products out, and I was like, right, give them a go beforehand. So yeah, they sent out some products. Most of them were fine. One of the things just did not work. It was the wrong shade for me, and I ended up going out and buying a lighter shade myself to see if it worked, and it just didn't. So I contacted them and I said, listen, this isn't going to work. I can't talk about this. Can I use another product instead that I love? And they were like, yes. You have to stay true to yourself, and if something doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Someone said, any advice on the best way to do a media kit? I haven't a clue, and I've been asked for one. I don't have one. But if you go onto Pinterest or Etsy, you can see examples of how to do it, and you can just do it in Canva and make it. It doesn't have to look all zhuzhy. If you want it to look zhuzhy, go for it. But yeah, usually media kits are something that you can update when it comes to your stats. So you'll have like your social media handles, your blog info, a little introduction about you, your current stats, if you've done any paid work with people in the past, and put that in as well. It's basically like a CV for your blog and your social media. But Pinterest has fab ones to copy or take inspiration from. Someone said, the best way to manage social media scheduling, schedule a week or in advance or just 2 days. I use Hootsuite to schedule Instagram posts and Twitter posts for brands that I look after, and we will usually do like a week in advance, sometimes two. There is one brand that wants a monthly schedule done ahead of time, so we will do a content plan where it'll be a calendar. We'll have all the photos that we want to upload, and the captions are ready to go. We send that off for approval. They say yeah or no or change things up, but then everything is ready to go. So then we post that, but then as well we get to be spontaneous and we get to be interactive. So if something comes up, we can add to that. So just because something might be done in a weekly plan or a monthly plan doesn't mean it's going to be set in stone. And you might be able to change things around a little bit, because you want to be reactive as well. Like, you want, if something gas happens on the news or if something happens online, you want to be able to react to that. But at least having your posts done for like a little bit will take the pressure off. Somebody says, is there snobbery in the industry? Example, big, they put that in them things, big bloggers looking down on those with smaller numbers. Not at all. Not that I've encountered anyway. Because like, I'm only a small fry compared to some of the girls with the bigger numbers, and they're always so nice. Always. We always have the chats, always have the hug, have the banter, and that's, yeah. I don't think I've met anybody who's a gobshite. Like, I'll talk to anybody. If anybody is bold like me, I'll have the chance. We'll always gravitate towards each other at an event. We're always in the bow corner, having a crack, get given out to for being loud, and then I know. But no, not at all. How old were you when you decided to make this your career, and was it scary? I'm 42 now. I left my job last year when I was 41, but I started thinking about it the year before. And didn't, I don't know, see, because I don't have the numbers that the other girls do, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a go with this. Everything kind of worked out, like the stars aligned, and I was able to leave my job. Oh, it's getting pretty bright. But it's 100% scary. I'm like a one income household, so I had to like factor all that financial part of it in as well. I don't put my name to every collaboration that comes my way. I don't want to dilute what I do, so I had to factor that in as well. Like, there's loads of factors. Like, it is terrifying. Like, I stress about money on a weekly basis, but this is my choice. At least I'm giving it a go, and yeah, it was scary. Like, I think change is scary anyway, no matter what you do. Have like a whole life change thing where if you fail, it's going to be in the public domain. Is scary. But I wanted to try this world and this life more than I cared about what other people would think, if that makes sense. Does that even make sense? I don't know, because like, you can live your life afraid of trying something new based on what you think people might say about you or what people will judge you on, and like, that's no life to like live based on what you think they might say. You know, you have to do what you want, whatever makes you happy. Oh my gosh, I'm like Oprah now. Do you think the current top influencers are giving the industry a bad name? I don't think so. Like, there are a couple that have had their moments, and I think now that the ASAI are kind of watching people and monitoring them for if they're declaring properly. I think that has helped the industry lots, because before, yeah, no, it was frustrating to watch and to see people you knew were getting paid for something because you had been approached as well, and they're not like declaring at all, and I was just like, oh come on. But I think people have calmed down now. I think people have copped on now as well. I think they know now that the audience is not stupid, like, because like I'm watching people as like a consumer and as like a viewer in an audience. I'm not stupid. So it's just, I think people are respecting their audiences more now as well. I'm just respecting that they're intelligent people that are watching you, and they're now going to know, they could smell if you're got paid like a mile away. Someone says, do you ever feel pressured to give a good review on a bad product because it was gifted to you? No. Yeah, I filmed a good few disappointing products video over the years. I know I love Charlotte Tilbury makeup so much, but some of her stuff just has let me down on a fierce, strong level. And I don't know, I'm not here, this is the thing, I'm not here to sell products for brands. I'm here to try them out so that I can say if I think they're good, not if they are good or not. Because all my reviews are based on my experience, so just because something worked for me, it might not work for you, or just if something didn't work for me, it still might work for you. That's the basis on why I do this. It's not for the brand's benefit, it's for the viewer's benefit or my reader's benefit, so that if they're going, do you know what, I've 20 euros to spend on something, I want to treat myself, what'll I get? I would be raging and I'd be mortified if they bought something that I said was good if it was crap, just because I felt afraid to say something was crap. But as well, when it comes to product reviews as well, I'll always have reasons. If I think something's bad, I'll say why I think it's bad. Like, for example, those Charlotte Tilbury latex love things, I didn't like them. The colour was gorgeous, finish was lovely, smell was not good. They gave them to me. If I'm off the list, that's okay, I'll still buy her stuff, it's okay. I've spent lots of money on her stuff too, do you know? So, no. Oh, someone said, how do you get the paid partnership thing with Instagram stories instead of just using ad? I don't know. I would love that as well, because it would just take the pressure off. I don't know. Someone says, how do you deal with negativity? Not very well sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, screw you, and sometimes I'm just like, oh. But no, I'm really lucky in the fact that I haven't had a huge amount of negativity from audience. I've had it from other sources, but I just don't engage. I remember reading a quote by Erica Badu, and now I can't remember what it is. She said, if you invite negativity in, you have to feed it and hang out with it. Best not to invite it in. I love that quote. I love that quote. But yeah, I live by that. And so if any negativity is directed my way, I just ignore it. I don't engage. There's been very little. And I remember a few years ago having issues with this person who said that she'd followed me for years anyway, and was so aggressive in her messages to me, was calling me names, was saying that I was X, Y, and Z, and I just remember going, what did I do? She was like accusing me of stuff that I hadn't done at all, saying that like I wasn't transparent, and I was like, I actually couldn't have been any more transparent with what I was doing at the time. And then back then there was like an online website that people would go on to like give out about bloggers and stuff. And I made the mistake then of going to see what she'd said, and she had said, all I did was ask her this, and I was like, oh my god, you're a lunatic, that's not all what happened. And so from that day I was like, right, I'm not going to go onto the online websites, I'm not going to go onto the Facebook groups or anything like that, because it's so hard, like, seeing stuff written about yourself and stuff that's not true. And so I just would rather live in my bubble. Oh my god, I feel like I've talked for hours. I hope that video helped you. I hope that you got a little bit of insight. And if you have any more questions about blogging, influencing, all that kind of good stuff, leave it in the comments below and I can add it to my list for my next video. If you have any specific questions that you want me to answer as well, come over on Instagram. I'm there. You can just DM me and we'll have the chats. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.